Freedom Munitions X-Def ammunition in 38 Special and 380 ACP. So I got some insight into what X-Def means today by looking at this 380 ACP box. It says Extreme Defense Carry, bonded 380 ACP or 380 Auto X-Def. And our 38 Special says bonded 38 Special. Now our 38 Special is actually a 158 grain, and I believe that's the only weight that comes in a 38 Special of this Extreme Defense. And our 380 ACP is, I don't even see what it says on the box. Bonded. They don't list the weight of those projectiles on here anywhere. Interesting. On the back here, 95 grain hollow point. So that's the issue with these stickers. Some of these stickers will wear off really easily. So 95 grain bonded jacketed hollow point on our 38 Special. I believe it did say 158 grain. So that's really the only bullet weight in 38 Special or 380 ACP that they come in. So I had to look up the velocities on the internet here, and we got 1,050 for our rated velocity with our 380 ACP, and 925 is our rated with our 38 Special. And I did not see any test barrel lengths listed for where they got those velocities. But I'm actually going to use my 2-inch barrel Taurus 605 to test the 38 Special, and my 3.675-inch Smith & Wesson Shield EZ to test the 380 ACP. And the reason why I'm using these specific guns, even though it might not be fair, because we have just a tad less barrel travel with our 38 Special. You know, the equivalent to a semi-auto when we're talking a 2-inch revolver 38 Special would be something like 3.3 inches. So we're getting like maybe a third to a fourth of an inch more barrel travel with that 380 there. But the reason why I'm using that is because anytime I would use my LCP, people would complain and be like, oh, nobody uses that, you need a more barrel length to test 380, and they get really mad that I wasn't using something with at least this barrel length. And then whenever I would test 38 Special, people would get mad if I used over 2-inch barrels. They'd be like, well, nobody uses 38 Special and anything other than a snub. So, you know, all the comments over the years has led me to this point where I'm gonna just do what a lot of people want to see. So 380 versus 38 Special. So we're gonna go through the current graph, see what kind of velocity and accuracy I can get at the same time. And then I'm doing my 10% clear ballistic test. I'm going to go into plain clear ballistics to see what the best potential of those cartridges are. You know, denim or anything like that to clog a hollow point. So we'll see, you know, what the bullets are supposed to look like, expand, hopefully. And then we'll do more of a real world simulation where we have 4 layers of denim on this first 3-inch piece here, and that sometimes clogs a hollow point. After 3 inches of clear ballistics, we'll have a 1/4-inch medium density fiber board to represent hitting ribs or sternum. That'll be more of our real world simulation. We'll do that also. And then I'm going to shoot at the steel target to see what kind of practical accuracy I can get with these. So let's get started with this test. All right, first up we have our 380 ACP. We're 95 grains, rated at 1,050 feet per second. Let's see how close I get to 1,050 in my Shield EZ here. $989. 1,004. 957. 978. 934. So quite a bit of velocity fluctuation there. Now, 38 Special is rated at 925 feet per second, probably through a 4-inch barrel. Let's see if I get my 2-inch snub here, see how close I get to 925. 871. 852. 856. 864. 864. So pretty consistent velocity, and you know, a lot less below rate of velocity, I would say, than a 380. You know, about what you expect if that was rated through a 4-inch barrel, and then we're using a 2-inch barrel. So let's set our ballistics gel block and see how these compare. All right, the plain clear ballistics are our best potential shot. Here's our 380 ACP. All right, 38 Special. Let's go take a look. All right, so before I took the shot, I was gonna say something, and what that thing was I was gonna say is, through all the years of testing ammo, I don't think I've ever seen a 38 Special jacketed hollow point in a 158 grain expand through a 2-inch barrel. I've seen like lead hollow point ones do it, but not actual jacketed hollow points. So we have very drastically different results here based mostly on velocity here. So a 380 ACP in that first 3 inches got a good amount of energy dump, a little bit less with our 38 Special. That's to be expected with such a slow velocity. But what we're working with here is with our 380 ACP, we got a penetration of 7 3/4 inches. I know camera parallax from the angle that I'm at will make it look like that bullet's probably 8.5 inches, but it's 7 3/4. Now with our 38 Special, what we're looking at here is about 17 inches of penetration. So no expansion with our 38 Special, but we do have some expansion with our 380 ACP. So very interesting. Now let's try this with our denim and MDF, see how they compare that way. All right, more of our real world simulation, 380 ACP through 4 layers of denim, 3 inches of clear ballistics, 1/4 inch MDF. This should lower the expansion down and hopefully cause it to penetrate more. That's what I'm hoping for, at least. So let's see what we get here through more of our real world simulation with our 380. All right, let me set that back up and hit it with the 38 Special. All right, 38 Special, 4 layers of denim, 3 inches of clear ballistics, 1/4 inch MDF. Let's see what we get with this. Let's go take a look. All right, so interesting results. Now, honestly, I did not expect to see any expansion going through the denim and MDF with that 38 Special if we did not get any with our plain gel shot. And then we lowered that penetration with the 38 a little bit, and that's pretty typical because, you know, if you get MDF that will reshape the bullet and lower that expansion, you actually get more penetration. But if the bullet doesn't change either way, the MDF will simply act as a little bit of a barrier and you get a little bit less penetration. So with our 380 ACP, none of these had much energy dump in that first 3 inches there. And then going through our medium density fiberboard, we can clearly see that we did not have any expansion starting with that 380. And with our 38, we had some tumbling going on already. But with our 380 ACP, it did penetrate more ideally. So it looks like either that bullet broke or the petals peeled back or something like that, but we got a penetration of 16 3/4 inches. So going through more of our real world simulation, our 380 did better. Now our 38 Special here, we went to about 15.5 inches of penetration. So look at these here, what I can say is, even though our 38 Special failed on one regard, it consistently penetrated without over penetrating, and it looks like it, you know, both bullets are backwards, so it consistently tumbled. Our 380 ACP, way too much over expansion when plain gel, but when we put it in more of our real world simulation, I would say it did a little bit better than our 38 Special. So it's kind of hard to say which one here did better. Both of them have their pros and their cons. Obviously we had better expansion with our 380, but we had that really low penetration if we did not hit denim or MDF. And our 38 Special, you know, didn't get expansion. So I'm going to say here, if I just pick one of these, which one I think did better, I'm going to say the 38 Special. I know a lot of times people will look at me when I say that and be like, man, you just love the 38 Special so much, you're willing to lie to say it did better, and look how terrible it did because you didn't get bullet expansion. But I'm looking at other things other than bullet expansion. I'm looking for consistency. I'm looking for consistent penetration, and we had more consistent velocity, very consistent penetration, and some tumbling. So honestly, it didn't do bad, even though in the end we don't see beautiful flowered, you know, expanded hollow points. Our 380, you know, it did okay for what it is, because going through our more real world simulation, it did decent. So Let's pull these out of the block. We'll take a close-up look at them. Then I'm going to shoot our steel, see what kind of practical accuracy I can get with these. All right, so here's a close-up look at these bullets going through the plain gel. Here is our 380 ACP. Really big expansion. But because it's only a 95 grain bullet, when you flatten that out, the sectional density becomes extremely low, and you're not going to penetrate very well because there's too much surface area and not enough weight behind that to push it through. Our 38 Special here, we can word this as fantastic non-expansion, but yeah, we didn't get anything good going on with that. One thing to be said here, if you look at actually the length of that bullet, it's longer than how wide that expanded hollow point is. So when this tumbles, it can potentially create a larger hole than this, and we know this is tumbling. The only issue here is that you can't consistently, reliably know, when this is going to tumble. Is it going to tumble right away? Is it going to tumble a little bit into the target? We don't know. But I would say overall, based on the fact that we had better penetration and we did tumble, this did a little better than this because this severely underpenetrated. Now going through our medium density fiberboard and denim, here is our 380 ACP, and it has a fantastic looking hollow point, if that'll focus. Really big, a lot of area in there to get expansion, but we did not get any expansion. Now going through our medium density fiberboard, we can see that the side of that bullet started to bend a little bit. So that's going to indicate that, as it went in, it was tumbling just a little bit before it hit that MDF, and that MDF, caused that bullet nose to bend a little bit. And that would probably amplify its tumbling a little bit, but, overall, not very impressive. I would say by chance, our 38 did better than our 380. But, if we look at like a scorecard here, no expansion, but good penetration on both. Good expansion on this one, good penetration on this one, but under penetration on this one. I would say the score is about the same. Both of them did about the same. Neither of them did good though, so that's a close-up look at those. All right, 12 yards from the target, I'm going to see which one's more shootable. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put 10 rounds on target with each of these with the reload. And, I think there's going to be some advantages to our semi-auto here in 380 ACP, but I'm going to do 10 rounds as fast as I think I can hit the target with our 38 Special. So here we go, 38. Not easy to get 10 rounds on target with a revolver, so let's see what I can do here with our 380 ACP. Alright, so a little bit quicker reload. I do fumble a little bit, and I do like to keep it more real world like this. I know a lot of people will have all kinds of rigs going on, holding their ammo, and they can have their magazines oriented perfectly. I hate stuff like that. What I like to do is I actually just throw a reload in a pocket like a normal concealed carrier would do, and see how they work from there. And the first thing that happened was I had the magazine backwards. I'd twist that around. It's something I don't practice a lot, but still just not as smooth as what you would think it would be, but definitely quicker than the revolver. Now with the revolver though, you have this overwhelming sense of confidence that when you press that trigger, it's going to fire. So, it's really a trade-off between the two of these. Both of them felt pretty shootable though. I didn't really notice a massively amount higher recoil with the 38 versus the 380, even though there's got to be more, but I just didn't really notice it. So let me back up and continue to shoot at the steel, see if I can make some more hits. All right, 75 yards from the target. I do this just for fun mainly, but I wanted to show something here. I got a couple of these 38 Special rounds, and this is as far as they'll chamber. This one stops there. This one's all bent I can't get it beyond that point. So really bad issue here with the case bulging out the side there. Really poor quality going on there. And I tell you this stuff because I'm not a shill. I don't get kickbacks from companies. I rely solely on YouTube ad revenue and Patreon supporters to do these videos. So nobody's bought and paid for me. So I'm going to tell you when something's off, and that was pretty off. So 75 yards just for fun. I want to see if I can hit the target from this distance. I just enjoy doing it. So let's see what I can do with our 38 here. So I was seeing if there was anything consistent going on with that before I adjust my holds, and they are consistently hitting to the left. So I'm going to aim to the right off the target just a little bit here. Now, the consistency of accuracy seems pretty good because, you know, to continue to hit with a snub nose from 75 yards, even if, you know, the grouping is off a little bit, that's decent still. Just might mean this gun don't like it. Some of them did shoot really high for unknown reasons. They just shot above the target, you know. I'm hitting the right elevation. I'm consistently keeping it there. And then the last one just shot over the target by like 4, 5, 6 feet. So let's see how our 380 ACP does at this distance. I think I'm going to have to aim a little lower. All right. Can't find anything consistent yet. What's going on? I'll keep trying here. Wow. Camera protector plate. I put that in front of the camera so I don't destroy it. There's no reason it should have hit that low, because from where I'm aiming, it's probably 4 foot low and to the right by 3 feet. So that doesn't make any sense at all, considering a lot of them are shooting over the target. All right, so relatively accurate. I was able to start to be more accurate with those, but I have noticed here, I've tested the 9mm, I've tested the 357 SIG, they're 10mm, now they're 380 and 38 special. And one thing I do notice across all those ammos is, a lot of times when I'll test other brands of ammo, let's just say I'm talking about Hornady or something, what I'll see is I'll either hit a lot or I'll miss a lot. I won't, you know, hit a lot and then all of a sudden miss by 10 feet. That just doesn't make any sense. And I've seen that with a lot of these different ammos, is that I'll be making pretty consistent hits and then all of a sudden it's off by like 10 feet. It doesn't really make any sense at this distance. And I see the same thing on paper with all the Freedom munitions I've tested, is that they'll seem pretty good accuracy, and then all of a sudden you get one that's like 4 inches high on paper at 5 yards, and it's like, there's just no way I could have pulled it that high. That doesn't make any sense. I mean, if I was a brand new shooter, that would make sense. You know, not somebody that's been shooting for 20 years. You know, you're going to be able to consistently hit in this big an area no matter what you do, even at 7 yards. So if you're hitting, and all of a sudden way up here, 8 inches at 7 yards or something, you're like, that's not me. So I've seen that kind of inconsistency here with this ammo. So looking at this ammo, there's definitely better options. However, that being said, 38 and 380 ACP are two of the calibers that are very, very difficult to get good performing ammo. And this being a 158 grain jacket at hollow point, I've never seen a 158 grain jacket at hollow point expand through a snub nose. So it's not worse in that regard for its terminal ballistics. It's pretty average for what it's doing. That being said, why does Freedom Munitions not, offer a 110 grain, 125 grain plus P rather than just a standard pressure 158 grain? I don't know. It doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. Now with our 380 ACP, that should have performed really a lot better. We had enough velocity on that to really judge that ammo, and we just had too much over expansion. That being said, again, that is pretty typical for 380 ACP, is if you get good expansion, it won't penetrate very far, or you'll get no expansion and it will penetrate pretty well. So what I'm seeing from this overall overview, one really didn't do better than the other. I said the 38 special did better in our terminal ballistics previously, and I guess it did because it was more consistent, but honestly neither of these did anything outside of normal ammunition. But then we also had some quality control issues with that, so not particularly great overall, but it is what it is. So that's what you get today. So as always, comment, share, and like, and thanks for watching.